So glad you are with us on Transcending the Money Myths. Brad Johansson along with Paul Roberts, CEO of Roberts Wealth Management. How are you today, my friend?
Man, I'm great every day, aren't we, Brad?
Aren't we good?
Yeah.
Lucky to be doing it.
If not, we just tell ourselves we are until we believe it, right?
That's right. That's right. But we are happy to be here. Happy that you're here with us, and we're grateful for your time. So spend a little time with us on education because, man, you've tried to make a bunch of money, right? We tried to accumulate. Now we've got to save some money. So you want to spend some time on the saving plan, because you say this is probably where people start to fall short a little bit.
It is, and I definitely feel that way. So we refer to it as the savings plan because no one plans to save, right? Now, and people would take that the wrong way. They think, oh, well, no, I planned, I saved, money in the bank, I saved money in my 401k for retirement. Yes, most people do that type of saving. Type of savings we're referring to is different. It's that, people, we found many years ago when they come in, they first sit down and talk with a financial professional, the first thing they're talking about is how much money can we make? Let's make money, let's make money, let's make money. And I always tell people, wait, before we worry about making money, let's save money. What? No, I'm done saving money. I saved money for years. Now I'm retired. Okay, well, let's start. Let me ask you some questions. Let's start going through the interview process, and we'll see if you're saving all your dollars, right? First of all, let me see your tax return. Then they're like, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Then we start looking through a couple lines on tax return. I'm like, well, no, we're not saving money. So, well, we'd like to start saving money. And so basically what I'm talking about here is saving money is when you were, like you always refer to, Brad, right? Transitioning from that accumulation stage of life into the distribution stage. Yeah. I saved it. Now I have to distribute it to myself the rest of my life. And how am I going to do that, right? Well, I love to teach the grandma lessons, right? Grandma had financial planning all figured out. You know what she said?
What did she say?
A penny saved is
penny earned.
Okay. And pennies don't matter anymore. I think they're about to take them out of circulation.
They're gone.
So we'll call them dollars, right? A dollar saved is a dollar earned. Okay. And so what we were very good at, and what blows most of our new clients coming in out the door, is that they may be doing an all right job making money, but they're shooting themselves in the leg because they're not saving money in so many other places. So if a dollar saved is a dollar earned, before we go worry about earning a dollar, let's worry about saving a dollar. And they say, well, I'm not saving anymore. I already got here. Okay. Well, look, to help you understand this, to make money now that you're retired, you have to take risk, right? But guess how much risk you have to take to keep your money? None. You just have to do prudent financial planning. Brad, you're looking at me like I'm not making any sense yet.
No, prudent financial planning. Look, we're all trying to get ready, and we've said this many times before that Paul has tried to make this a little bit more simple so that you know. Let's put up one of the quizzes that he's tried to make more simple. rwquiz.com. What does this do for me? Are you ready? This is the Are You Ready? What have I done well? What have I done poorly? What do I need to work on? Does this quiz score give people an idea of full preparation for retirement, and maybe where they need to reach out and say, okay, I've done a couple things well, but maybe I need a little help in this area?
You're nailing it right there, okay, Brad. Because it shows the whole picture, right? We refer to it as our retirement reality check. Everybody's, well, I've saved money, or I'm retired, or I've got a financial professional. Well, all right, here's your reality check. Go take this quiz, and it'll tell you how well you have prepared, how well you're doing, and how well you're going to do, or what are the things that you have not thought about? What are the sub-conversations that you have not had? What are the variables that you have not brought into the equation and accounted for? It's a really good tool because it'll bring reality in. And so many people walk in our office today, they go and take this retirement reality check, the RW quiz. They come in, they say, man, I thought I had it all figured out until I took your quiz. Yeah. You say, well, how do you feel now? They said, that's why I'm here. Well, great, first step, right?
Okay, so if we're planning for savings, what does that look like? Where do I start with that? Look, I'm going to take a quiz, and I know I'm going to be short in some of this. Very few of us have planned perfectly to be able to get ready for retirement. And I mean, very few of us have done this. What does planning for savings for a long term start to look like?
Let's say, and just because, like you said, Brad, I try to make things simple and relatable and understandable for everybody out there. So I'll tell you what, let's call it keep a dollar, all right? So the whole question is when the client comes in, I tell them, all right, that's great. You're worried about going to try to make a dollar, but you have a lot of dollars you already made. Let's focus on making sure we keep as many of those dollars as possible before we worry about making a dollar. So we've got to take risks to make a dollar. You see, to keep a dollar, we don't have to. How do we keep a dollar? What are the fees and commissions on your portfolio?
Well, people are going to, you're going to say that, and people, what do you mean fees and commissions? Well, I know what I'm paying my advisor.
Do they?
Expound.
Well, do they? Actually, that's a great topic. Just a few months ago, we had our client Christmas party, right? Yeah. Great event, tons of clients there. And we had a new client who just joined us, and he was there that night, and he said, look, I'm kind of with y'all, but I'm kind of half and half. And I said, well, okay, expound on that. What does that mean? He said, well, I've got half of my money with you guys, and I'm keeping it half over with this other company. I was like, okay, well, tell me about it. He said, well, your fee's too high. My fee's too high. Okay, tell me about it. He said, you're charging me, and our fees vary by the client, right, in every situation, but it could be anywhere from 1 to 1.5%. He said, you're charging me that. You're charging me 1 1/4. He said, they're doing it for 0.75. And I said, well, who's doing it for 0.75? He said, Fidelity. I said, well, I thought Fidelity was a company. He said, they are. I said, no, but who is doing it for 0.75? What do you mean? I said, who's your person? A 1-800 number at Fidelity? Well, yeah. So who is actually managing your money and earning that fee, and what are they doing for it? What advice and what counsel are they giving you? First of all, but second of all, I promise you, nobody in our industry works for fees less than 1%. There's just not enough meat on the bone to run a business. You can't. We have to clear so much in management fees to keep our business alive. And so when people walk in my office and they tell me my fees are less than 1%, I tell them, like this gentleman, I said, sir, you're right. Our fee is more expensive than theirs. But what you're going to find is it's because we believe in transparency. Our fee is a fully all-inclusive fee. There's no other hidden fees. There's no transaction fees. There's nothing in the background that you're unaware of. That's it. He said, yeah, well, that's my whole fee with them. I said, well, okay, bring in your portfolio and let's do a fee analysis. One of the most eye-opening things we do for new prospective clients coming in, right? We do this fee analysis. It brings to the surface all the buried and hidden fees that they're completely unaware of. Yeah. They say, my broker's only charging me 1%. We do this fee analysis. It comes to the top, and on average, they're around 2%. Yeah. So we did his fee analysis. His fee analysis actually came back higher because all the mutual funds that he had in there and all the excess fees there, he came in at 2.1% in the fee. Because you have to hire somebody to manage a mutual fund, and there's a fee upon that. There's a fee, and there's extra fees in there, and there's extra fees, but those fees are not shown or disclosed, right, on your statement. And so, into the conversation, I said, well, last night you told me that you only had half of your money with us because our fee of 1 1/4 was too high. But now you find out that you're paying them 2.1%, and you don't even have a person. You have a 1-800 number. How do you feel about my 1 1/4 now? He said, can I bring the rest of the money over? Come on. It's a reality check. It's a reality check, right? These are just the things that people are unaware of. Our industry is very complex and complicated. People generally don't know the difference in different types of licenses and credentials, different types of advisors, different types of companies. They don't know if they're corporate. They don't know if they're captive. They don't know if they're really independent. You know, we are a truly, fully independent financial advisory firm. What does that mean? It means we don't have any, we don't have any commitments to any certain people or companies or money managers or anything. We don't have any bias in our recommendations. Yeah. We work for the client, not for a company who wants us to move a product. Does that make sense? Yeah. Does it make sense to you? The idea is let's be transparent about what the fees are, about what you get to keep, about what's actually yours, about what you're paying for. rwquiz.com will only get you to a point of saying, how have I prepared for where I am?
But actually doing all of the fee analysis, all of your portfolio analysis will bring out the reality. So once you do the quiz, you're going to want to make a call to 866-404-5050, 866-404-5050. Let's get to transparency to understand what you have and how we can help. Make the call. Let's put a plan together for you, a complimentary financial plan that is only yours. It's not 1-800, it's 866, it's 404, it's 5050 to get to your person. Need a person? Make the call. Be right back.
Kind of crazy how we've been a little bit conditioned in this world today, right? Like if the doctor speaks, it's almost like it was the word of God or something, right? That the doctor said it, so it's true. People are guilty of doing that same thing in the financial industry sometimes. You need to get a second opinion. You need to get other people's options right there. Same thing in the financial world. Yes, for an example, I was a very young father. I was 20 years old when my daughter was coming into the world. She had what you call hydrophenosis. One of her kidneys was barely functioning and one of them wasn't functioning at all. First 9 months we were under constant monitoring and just living in the hospital and staying there. But it started to take its toll on me. And one day I was sitting there, the doctor was talking to me and I just fell asleep while he was talking to me. And he's like, hey, son, you need to go take care of yourself. You're exhausting yourself. You're killing yourself. I don't care about me. I only care about her right now, But to an exhausted man, it sounded good when he said, you know what, Paul, I need you to take a month off. It sounded great. I left the hospital. Good, I'm gonna go take a month off. I get a break from all this, and as I'm driving down I-10 home to Biloxi, and thoughts just triggered in our head, wait, so we've had constant monitoring for 15 months, and now all of a sudden I can just take a month off? I just wasn't feeling real confident. So I said, forget going home, and we called Tulane in New Orleans, and we got there, the doctor took her back, started doing their testing. He came back out, and he said, your daughter won't live through the night. Her kidneys are gonna explode within the next 12 hours. They went in and did emergency surgery, and he saved my daughter's life, and she's still here today with us. Beautiful, healthy, and amazing. But if we hadn't never gone and questioned the first doctor, we would have gone home, put her in her crib that night, and she would have not been with us the next day. So I've always, since that point, look, get another opinion, question it, always have doubt, always do your own due diligence, do your own research, find out for yourself, because your retirement is just as important as your health.
Glad you're with us on Transcending the Money Myth. Brad Johansson with Paul Roberts, CEO of Roberts Wealth Management. Talking about saving. Would you like to save? I know you'd like to accumulate, but now we're moving into a different path, runway, shorten the runway, and we've got to change kind of the strategy. We did the RW quiz. I want to move to taxes because when we want to save, robertstaxbill.com is probably going to, we say this all the time, once the number pops up, you go, what? This will give you an idea of what Uncle Sam wants from you over different stages and the opportunities that maybe some strategies that Paul and those folks at Roberts Wealth Management can help you on keeping more money in your pocket. Why do we hit tax bill? And you say this has been very significant for a lot of people who have now become new clients and taking a look at this and saying, okay, nobody ever talked to me about this. And this is probably, if I'm talking about that runway that I'm saying is now shortening, this is the best way that savings comes into it. So Tell me about it.
Yeah, well, first of all, when people go to our tax bill calculator, like you said, they go, what? And the first thing they do is walk in our office and say, I don't want to pay that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then we better get started to do some work, right?
Yeah.
But let's give some examples. The whole theme of today and what we're talking about is people are always focused on trying to go take risks to make money. And they think everything in retirement planning is about taking risks to make money. But that's the cart before the horse, right? You have to take risks to make that money.
Yeah.
Whereas we have a saying, a lot of quirky sayings in our office, right, that we just say over and over and over because we try to just drill them into people's heads.
Sure.
One of them is, in retirement, it's not what you earn, it's what you keep that matters the most.
Yeah.
So how do we keep more of our dollars, right? Well, tax planning is one that, first of all, every April, our office, the phone rings off the hook because we're known as the tax planning specialist in the financial world. And every single April, the phone's ringing off the hook, and we're getting on the phone with people who are saying, help me, help me. Okay, well, what are the things they're calling to help them about? A few different. Most of the time, it is one of two subjects, okay? It is either, I wasn't prepared for this tax bill, and what's happening to my Social Security, or I wasn't prepared for my medical supplements to cost this much.
Yeah.
Well, what happened? Well, I had a big income bill last year. We took way too much money out of our IRA. We wanted to remodel our house to get ready for retirement. And so we pulled all this big chunk of money out of our IRA. Yep, so all that money was taxable as income, right? Yep. And that created so much taxable income that now the government said, we made too much money, so now our Medicare supplement cost doubled. So now I'm gonna have to pay twice as much for my Medicare supplements for the next 2 years because I took on too much tax bill this year.
Yeah.
Say, well, yeah, but didn't you have a financial advisor? Yeah, he told me to take the money for him to remodel my kitchen. I said, well, maybe he should have talked to you about this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because if you had been with one of our advisors, we'd have said, you're 64 going on 65. This is a really bad year to take that withdrawal. Can we just wait 4 more months and take it at the end of the tax year? Because if you take it right now, it's going to cost you so much in Medicare and Social Security, it's not worthwhile. You're going to give half the money for your remodel back to Medicare and Social Security. Let's be prudent. Let's make good decisions here. Let's take the right amount of money at the right times. Social Security planning, right? I got one for you here, Brad.
Go.
All right. If you were retired today, would you like to make $500,000 in retirement?
Would I like to?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Once you've quit working, right?
Yeah, sure.
No more loan, no longer creating income. You're no longer putting the money away in the 401k.
Yeah.
And ask people, well, how much would you like to make $500,000 in retirement? They say, how will I make $500,000 in retirement? Well, saying back to Grandma's principle, right?
Penny saved is a penny earned.
So how do you make $500,000 in retirement? You save $500,000, right? People who come see us, the earlier people come see us, the better a job we can do. Any of our viewing audience out there, if you're 5, 10, 20 years from retirement, good, start now. Because we can put you on a track and plan the correct type of taxation, the types of different accounts. We can be as efficient as possible and keep as many dollars as possible, right? For instance, people who come see us plenty early and we do tax forward planning before they get to Social Security, we know that Social Security was supposed to never be taxed, right?
Yeah.
But now we know they've got taxable thresholds. They say, well, if you're a single individual or if you're a married couple, you can earn up to this much money,
Yeah.
right? And once you earn greater than that amount, all your Social Security is taxable.
Right.
And they put that earnings amount right in that like 45, 46,000 range, right where the income level they know everybody needs to be retired, right? So they know they're going to capture a majority of people,
Sure.
and that's going to become taxable. But if they'd seen us 10 years prior, we would have planned for this. We'd have repositioned those tax dollars in another tax-free bucket or from somewhere else and save some other money to get through those first years of Social Security. So I'm giving you this is how you make $500,000 in retirement, okay? I know I'm going full circle here. It's a lot.
I'm ready.
It's a lot to try to simplify, right? Our average couple as a clients, right, have about $60,000 a year in Social Security benefits.
Okay.
Right? Once they cross over those income thresholds, 85% of that $60,000 now becomes taxable, right? So let's say on average it's somewhere around $7,000 to $10,000 a year that they're paying in taxation on their Social Security. How much difference would it make in your life to keep $7,000 to $10,000 every year rather than giving it to the IRS?
Significant.
Right? So how significant? Let's say your average retirement lifespan is 25 years. Right? If we save $10,000 a year for 20 years, that's $200,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if we average 7% rate of return after 10 years, it's doubled, right? So it's 400, and after another 10 years, it's doubled. We're in the $500,000 to $600,000 range. So if you do prudent planning up front, years before you get to retirement and get to Social Security, we can show you ways to keep $500,000 to $600,000 worth of your family savings for the rest of your life. Now, how many people out there do you know would not raise their hand and say, I want to make or save $500,000 in retirement?
You raising your hand? And now's your time. robertstaxbill.com. Once you go there, you're going to say, you know what, this is shocking to see. I'd like to use some of the strategies within here. And then you're going to want to make a call to 866-404-5700. 50-50. Raise your hand. Who wouldn't want to make $500,000 in retirement? It's by saving, but it's a plan. It's a strategy. We'll put together a complimentary financial plan just for you. And the sooner, the better. Many of you have been watching for a while and saying, at some point, I'm going to call. Now's that time. 866-404-5050. Let's put together that plan for you. Whether you're in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida. Don't you want a plan? Raise your hand. Pick up the phone. Make the call. Be right back.
I was 24 years in the Air Force. I retired in 1982.
Been married to this guy 62 years. I was a stay-at-home mom, thanks to him. But once the kids were in school and high school, then I got a job, became a travel agent, and retired from that. Like many other companies, we got a card in the mail inviting us to learn how to retire right.
The presentation from Roberts was very appealing to us.
At that time was a perfect time for us. We had just lost half of our lifetime investment with the stock market.
Once the retirement was in effect and we had our ducks in a row, courtesy of Roberts, we did things like go to Spain. We've been able to go on some cruises. Then we went to Chile 2 different times.
I think the first thing that impressed me is I never felt pressured to do anything. It was always our choice at our time. And that's comforting to people that are older as far as retiring right.
Are you ready to retire? I don't know is not an acceptable answer, because if you're not ready to retire with enough money to last until your last breath, when would you like to know? We created a quiz to give you a clear idea of retirement readiness. Income, Social Security, taxes, and health care. Get a clear picture of how ready you are and where you might need some help. Get a second opinion. It's free. Go to rwquiz.com for your retirement reality check. Glad you're with us on Transcending the Money Myth. Brad Johansson with Paul Roberts, Roberts Wealth Management. We're talking about saving. It's a strategy that is kind of foreign to a lot of us. Getting into that spot where I'm going to make money by simply saving. You've moved through the tax bill. We've talked about getting ready for retirement. Legacy now becomes something that you want people to pay attention to. And I've said this before. Many people hear that word and they go, I don't have a legacy. I don't have that much. I don't want to pay attention to it. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to spend my last dollar. Why is this important as far as savings goes?
Well, and I've heard that a lot from people too, and we tell them, they say, I want to spend my last dollar, and I tell them, we'd love to help you do that. Problem is, I'm going to need to know the day you're going to pass away. I could calculate it to a T for you. We will bounce your last check to the funeral home if you could tell me the day it's going to happen. Nobody knows that day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So somebody's going to need to plan and prepare in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't matter what you have. And even if you don't have any heirs or anyone you want to leave it to, what are you going to do with the money, right? What are you going to do with whatever assets you have when you leave this earth? And do you want as much of it to be kept out of the courts and the judges and the IRSs and everyone else's hands, right? And do you want to, if you do have family and heirs, number one, they're mourning you, right? They're mourning you. They're stressed. They've probably got their own careers and children and everything going on. And now guess what happens? Mom, dad pass away. They don't have proper estate planning. They don't have proper trust documents. Everything goes to probate with the courts. Their kids live in another state. They're trying to go to their kids' baseball games and work 40 hours a week. And now they're trying to figure out how to hire a estate attorney in another state. All mom and dad's assets are frozen while they're in probate, so they can't even use their money to hire the attorney. They got to dig out in their own pockets. Then it's in probate for, 2 months to 10 years. Who knows how long it takes, right? Everyone else is sucking all the blood out of it. Your family's stressed out. Is that what you want your final memories?
No.
That's not the way I want to go, Brad,
No.
right? And so people don't understand that is the last part to, it's not what you earn, it's what you keep in retirement. That's the last part of keeping dollars. We do with our clients every single year, at least once a year, a beneficiary review check. All of your accounts. Let's check every single beneficiary on every account. Let's check all your trust documents, all your estate documents. Has anything changed? Do you know how many times I've been in situations where people got remarried and they didn't redo documents?
Yeah.
You know how bad that becomes?
It can be dangerous.
Yeah. Maybe there's a new grandchild in the family. Maybe some children of the pastor are not in the family. You know what? Things happen. Family dynamics happen. Life happens. And as life happens, last thing you're thinking about is, are all my beneficiaries up to date and all my estate documents correct? Right. That's the last thing you guys think about. So it's up to your financial team to make sure that they're being prudent there and they're helping you out. Hey, we got to sit down. I know. And then, clients will look at us and they'll say, we just reviewed it. I know. And I'm sorry, we'll be really quick here. We're just going to review. We're just going to make sure nothing's changed. Because you know what? You're going to be really happy that we do this every year as long as nothing has changed. We want to make sure that all our estate documents are accurate. One of the great new services we have is we have our own in-house AI software that reviews estate documents for all 50 states. Okay, it's compliant in all 50 states. You know the beauty of AI, Brad?
Tell me.
It doesn't make the mistakes us humans do. It's void of human error, right? So, anyone out there, we do it for all of our incoming clients. We take, if they have trust and estate documents on file, we're going to run it through the AI. We want to scan it. We want to make sure every I is dotted, every T is crossed, everything's perfect. If there's an error or something needs amended, we want to find it now. We want to make that amendment today, right? But also for our viewing audience out there, you got trust documents, you've got beneficiaries. What do you have that's going to take care of your family when you leave? Do you want to make sure your financial house is in good order? Pick up the phone, scan the QR code, come in, sit down with us, sit down with one of our all-star advisors. Let's review your documents and make sure everything is in line and that your goals will be achieved in the end, right?
And why wouldn't you? Make the call now. Thanks for being with us. Can't wait to see you in the office and right back here next time on Transcending the Money Myth. Thanks for joining us.